Let me try to make sure it's recording. Anyway, so the Selena documentary just came out, and I was really excited about watching it because I love Selena. Like, that's my girl. Love her. Now, I only know a couple of her songs, but I be singing my heart out to those songs, even though I don't know exactly what she's saying because I don't know Spanish like that. But I love Selena, and she's that girl. And I remember the first time I really kind of found out who she was I think I was in middle school in Spanish class, and my Spanish teacher showed us the Selena movie that Jennifer Lopez played her in, and I remember being like, oh, okay, who is this? Which is crazy because it's like she was very popular before she passed away. She was pretty famous. A lot of people knew her. Like a lot of people in the Hispanic Latino community. But I also think there were like non-Hispanic Latino people that knew her too. Because she just had good music. Period. Like, she literally made music that just made you want to dance and stuff. And yeah, so in Spanish class, we watched the movie, and it was a good movie. I personally think Jennifer Lopez did a great job playing Selena in the movie. My personal opinion, I think she did that, period. It was very convincing to me. Like, I'm thinking that was really Selena. Like, it was really her. Like, even though it wasn't, it was J-Lo, but still. That's how good she did. But you know, like, it was a biopic movie telling the story of her life, her and her family, how she got started in music, and yeah, just a lot of her personal life story, how she met her husband. I can't lie, it was the drama. The drama with that, with her husband, I was entertained. I can't lie. And we watched this in like middle school, but I was entertained. I was like, like, because basically the story with that is her husband that she met, he joined their band, the family band, because it wasn't just Selena. She was a singer, but she was in the band with her family. Her brother played, I think, guitar or bass, something like that. Her sister played the drums. And so it was a family band. And they might have had like other people in the band too, but it was mainly family. And so her husband, his name is Chris Perez, she met him because he joined the band. And in the movie, they definitely portrayed him like he was a bad boy. Like, they made him seem like he was this, like, really bad boy who was, like, rebellious or something. And when him and Selena, like, started getting close and dating or whatever, her dad did not like that. And it definitely looked like he didn't like it because he was like this bad boy, da 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 da. Which is interesting because, I mean, I'm like, so he's good enough for you to add him to the band, but you don't feel he's good enough to date your daughter? Like, is that what it's giving? And I understand mixing business and personal for sure. And that could have been part of it. I don't think that was the only thing though, because the dad was very extra. And I've seen a lot of people, you know, saying they felt like her dad was controlling. So I feel like it was a mixture of things of why he did not approve of Selena dating him, did not want that. In the movie, he ends up kicking him out the band because of it. And because, you know, Selena, like, by this time, she has feelings for him. Like, she's basically in love with this man. Her dad is telling her she can't be with him, kicked him out the band, I guess, to keep her away from him, which didn't work because she ran off and married this man. Which I'm sure pissed her dad off. But she didn't care. I mean, she was in love, like, period. So I get it for sure. But yeah, she ran off, married him. Oh my God, it was so dramatic. But I was entertained. I was entertained. And again, when I first saw this movie in middle school, I didn't really know who Selena was. So, oh my God, it's crazy. The first time I watched this movie was in middle school. It kind of feels like I watched it in elementary school. But no, it was for sure middle school because I don't remember us even having Spanish class in elementary school. Anyway. But yeah, that was my first time like really finding anything out about who Selena was, her life story, what happened to her, how she lost her life, which was really sad. It was sad how the movie ended. It was, oh my God, that was kind of traumatic for me. Like, when I was younger, I did not, every time I watched something sad or that was too heavy, like, it would really weigh on me. And maybe it's because I'm such an emotional, sensitive person. Like, I just can't handle all of that. Maybe that's not a bad thing. It just means like I'm very empathetic, and it made me so sad. I'm still like that to this day. Like, watching sad stuff, it will ruin my day. It will ruin my whole week. And like watching the end of the Selena movie made me sad because I couldn't believe that happened to her. And anybody that knows Selena, I guess, should know how she died. But if you don't, basically she was shot and killed by this woman. What's her name? Yolanda Saldivar. I'm like, what's her name? I've heard her name several times. She's still in jail, by the way, as she should be. I saw that they denied her parole a while ago, and I was like, yeah, that's what she gets. That's what she deserves. Yeah. because what she did was wrong. It was wrong. Selena, she just seemed like a very sweet person. She was very sweet. They showed that in the movie. She was very sweet, had a very bright personality. She was fun to be around. And even if you like go and watch Selena's real life interviews and videos, and you will see that about her. Like, she had such a bright personality, and people loved her and they loved being around her. So it was sad that, like, this person that she trusted as a close friend would do this to her. Yeah. I don't know if I should go in detail about all of that, because it pisses me off when I think about it. But I started off this video talking about the documentary that just came out that basically detailed Selena's life, but also her family and like their beginning, how they got into music, how they became a band. They talked about how her dad was originally in a music group or band, maybe before Selena was born, and he was on the road a lot. I'm not sure how successful it was. I don't know how famous they were. I know they weren't like really big and famous, but basically her dad was pursuing music as well at first. And in the documentary, he talks about how eventually he stopped doing music because they were having kids and, trying to take care of their kids and the family. And yeah. And the name of, I guess, the group he was in was called Los Dinos. So that's how they got the name Selena and Los Dinos, because that was the name of the band her dad was originally in. So yeah, it was a good documentary. I enjoyed it, even though I knew eventually they were gonna have to talk about her death towards the end, which made me sad. It made me sad, but I do love watching documentaries though. I love how informative they are, and like how you can just learn a lot about like your favorite celebrity or somebody, stuff you might not have known about. You get like behind the scenes footage and stuff, and I love seeing that. And they did show like behind the scenes videos with Selena and stuff. They showed like older videos from when they were kids in the beginning, first starting the band and performing and stuff. And it was very interesting to see. And something else I found interesting was, the family talking about how they had it hard in the beginning. I remember seeing in the movie, the family had a restaurant, and their band would perform at the restaurant and stuff. And eventually, I guess they had to close the restaurant down. Because the restaurant wasn't doing well, basically. Um, so in the documentary, they do talk about that, what happened with the restaurant, why they had to close it down, how they were struggling financially, and music was like the only other thing they felt they had to fall back on. So the dad, Selena's dad, his name is Abraham. He was on his Joe Jackson stuff. Yeah, he was on his Joe Jackson stuff. Sidebar, that's funny because in the documentary they mentioned how they were trying they were trying to be the Jackson. What was it they said? They were like, the Jacksons did it. They were trying to be the Spanish Jacksons or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, their dad was on his Joe Jackson stuff. Went and got the instruments and he got the ball rolling. He was like, yeah, this is what we gonna be doing. Especially when he felt his kids had talent, especially Selena. He talked about how when he found out that Selena could sing, he was like, okay, we can do this. Like, we're gonna make this work. And it wasn't easy at first. They talked about how it was a struggle for the band to really take off, for them to figure out what kind of music they should perform. And it was interesting because, they're, I don't want to sound ignorant. But, Selena's family, they're Latino or Hispanic family. I feel like there's a difference between Hispanic and Latino. That's why I don't want to sound ignorant. But, they're Mexican American. Her dad said his family came from Mexico. And so, yeah, they're Mexican American. But something they talked about was that they weren't Spanish speaking. I think maybe her dad was, but like when they had kids and stuff, they talked about how they didn't speak Spanish at home. Like the kids didn't speak Spanish, they spoke English. And they talked about how they didn't really feel connected to their Mexican heritage and roots because of that. And so I'm assuming when they started the band that they were performing and singing in English, and they felt like that wasn't really working for them, like they weren't really connecting with people. And when they talked about how they had to pick up and move after the restaurant closed down, they moved to an area, I guess, where people were speaking Spanish. And so with them trying to do music, they felt like, hey, maybe we need to start performing and singing Spanish music, which meant that they had to learn Spanish. And I guess that was a bit of a challenge for them because that, again, they did say that in their household they weren't really speaking Spanish. So they had to learn how not only to speak it, but to sing the songs in Spanish. They talked about how, like, later on in their music career, how Selena was trying to learn how to speak Spanish when she was being interviewed. I think she wanted to speak both English and Spanish so that, you know, like, everybody could understand her. And yeah, that probably was a bit of a challenge. But yeah, so that was like, they basically made the decision to break into Tejano music. And Tejano music is a genre of Spanish music or Mexican music. So